Okay, they accepted the offer.
Good morning. We are in Copper Harbor, Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula. We spent the night at a campground at Fort Wilkins last night. We'll go see the fort later in the week, but today it is cold and rainy outside. And so we've decided to go check out some of the copper mines on the island. There's one called Quincy Mine that I think we're going to go to and see if we can't take a tour. So that's what we're going to do on this cold, rainy day. Pumping it up with one of these little inflators. We gotta get it patched. This one has a little bit of damage from hitting that gas pump, so we need to replace it anyway. Last night we got an email from the realtor, and he had asked the family that owns this property if we can put our camper on the property until closing. That's really cool because we get to be on the land and experience it as much as possible before we close. So we have a few things to do as far as having some things tested, getting some things inspected, and answer a lot of questions about building on this land and the county and the town and how it all is going to work. But this morning we woke up with 2 flat tires. We have 1 spare. Picked up a couple of nails, it looks like, but now we have to get our tires fixed. So day 1 on the property, and we've already got a trailer up on blocks.
Walk the property. We've walked it a couple times, like all the way. There's these kind of not really walking trails. They actually are wide enough for like a ATV. I mean, a car could definitely drive on it. Not ours, probably, our big van, but and it just goes up and around, kind of this big loop. And there's some other little trails off of it into the woods and to the back of the property. There's an amazing view out the back of the property, the south side. I guess we're at the front part here at the low place on the property, but it kind of increases and goes not super steep, but a little bit higher. And then off the back, there's an amazing view. And of course, the leaves are turning, so it's even more amazing. It's early September still, like the 9th, 10th of September, and the leaves are already turning, so it's kind of a weird feeling. It's fall here, like completely, and I'm ready for pumpkin spice everything, and it's early, so we're a little worried about growing seasons and things, but and snow. Like, how early is it going to snow if it's already fall at, early September? When's it going to snow? But we'll just have to wait and see.
What did you make? What did you find?
Having applesauce.
Gonna make some applesauce?
Yeah.
Well, we have been sitting on the apple property for about a week doing, well, lots of things. First of all, eating a lot of apples. Made apple crisp, made apple cider. The kids have been furiously squeezing apples, making tiny amounts of apple cider, and really enjoying themselves. But
It just isn't gonna work. Last night we went to the town hall meeting in Silver Cliff and got the building regulations from them, and right up front it says only one dwelling per parcel will be permitted. Well, this is 40 acres, and we want to build a place where we can have multiple dwellings and multiple parts of our family living nearby. That's not in line with the vision, I guess, of this town. So they give us the option of dividing the parcel into smaller parcels, and then you could build one dwelling per parcel, but I just don't think that would honor this property. I think this property needs to stay as it is. It's beautiful. It has these trees, both fruit trees and forest, and just splitting it up, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't want to do that. Beyond that, it gets into a lot of complication with additional egresses, and additional easements to get on and off the property. We already learned that we need to get a permit just to cross this 200 feet of county land right here regularly. It prohibits us from putting signs up advertising any kind of farm industry that we do here. It's just not going to work. So if you can't tell, it is raining here like crazy. We've got to see it in multiple seasons. It was really hot yesterday, and it's been really cold the days before. We got to see lots of bugs. We got to see clear days. We got to see what the forest looks like in the dry days and in the wet days. And man, I would love to love this place, but it's not going to be a place we can build into what we want it to be. So the question remains, what next,
so basically, we have to pull out of here. We need to find a place where we can be free to do the things we want to do, build how we want to build, have animals, hunt, burn trash, whatever, without, the city or township really wanting to be involved in that. We know it's out there somewhere. It just isn't here. And so we're sad.
So I think the next step is we revisit some of the listings we liked in Idaho. We're going to look at some listings in Arizona, actually. There's a lot of pretty places in Arizona that are mountainous and have large parcels. On to the next place. What is that? Cookies.
Just what a rainy day needs.
Oh, perfect for a rainy day. What is in them?
All the things. These are called everything but the kitchen sink cookies.
Ooh.
They have 4 different kinds of chips: peanut butter, chocolate, butterscotch, and white chocolate chips. They also have raisins and oatmeal and sunflower
And
butter.
deliciousness.
Ooh. Awesome.
What happened?
I'm wondering if we didn't tighten those lugs up all the way. Let me put this wheel on.
Oh my gosh.
See that? It's just been rolling around. So the grease cap is gone, and then all these are damaged. So let's get further off the road. I don't know if we didn't torque down the lugs or what, but the rim is damaged. The lugs are rounded off because the rim has been bouncing around on the loose lugs. I don't know even how to get a little further down the road. Here's where we're at. We're just about through a tire, and that didn't happen. So I'll start by saying this day could have been a lot worse. But in order to change the tire and not be on the side of the highway, we pulled into a private driveway, which is one lane. Turning around in that driveway is not an option. And backing back onto the highway to do a three-point turn is not an option. So we pulled into this highway where they had a wide, grassy field. But if you can't tell, it's been raining for days. So we got the van to where we couldn't get out. Took the camper off the van in hopes that we could turn a different angle and hitch back up. And ended up stuck in the mud in another ditch. So I think we're calling a tow truck.
So I'm going to show you that the police came. First of all, I think Brendan may have mentioned, try to turn around, pull it out a different direction, but that did not work out. And neighbor or somebody called the cops. Okay, so the policeman turned around. We thought he was going to get stuck. Looks like he's leaving. We did call a tow truck because, you know, we're kind of stuck. And we're stuck in this big rut, so we'll see. Got pulled out of the mud, ditch, rain, grass, whatever. We got pulled out and we are now dealing with the tire, which is why we stopped in the first place. Brendan switched to the spare so we could go down the road. Basically, I think they forgot to tighten the lug nuts when they took the tire off. I don't even know if we talked about this, but basically we had two flat tires. We had two flat tires last week when we first pulled into the apple farm, and so Brendan just popped the tires off, took them to the local tire shop, they repaired them, and we put them back on. The lug nuts didn't get tightened, and the wheel basically was almost off. The tire was almost off when we stopped. I have no idea. It's bad. The rim of the tire was like cracked where each of the bolts were. It's really bad, you guys. I mean, we're just lucky we didn't kill someone with that tire popping off and flying out into somebody's windshield or something. It could have been really bad. So he's gonna see what happens. I don't know if we just need a new tire and rim and we'll be back on the road. The lug nuts, I mean, that are attached to the parts of the car, I don't know. The wheel, axle, or whatever, that the tire goes on and you screw the nut onto. The bolt that sticks out, that part, is stripped on part of it, on each one of them. So it's like, I think those need to all be replaced. So I just don't know.
We got a new rim. I think that's the 6th rim we've bought on this trip. Yeah, 6th rim. And got some parts. He didn't have all the parts to replace the broken posts. We got some other parts that when we replace the posts, we can cap the grease and change the bearings. So he says it's not hard to do, it's just hard to find the parts. I probably didn't need to buy these parts, but he had this whole bag, and it included a part that fell off when we were driving, which is a grease cap. That's where it was grease everywhere. So anyhow, it's not going to look quite right. It's got it's a little bit different shape hub, but it has red, white, and blue stripes on it, so I'm pretty happy.
We are here at Harvest Coast, 65 Vines Winery.
Just under 1,000 vines.
We're kind of pulled in late because of the whole debacle today, but we're getting set up, and Scott here has been very accommodating, and we're gonna learn a little about wine.
Pollinator habitat. If you were to go east, you did Howie 65s. That's where the name of the winery came from. As you're looking at the menu here, I'm just going to do a point. We have all the silly names of our wines that are named after what you do on the local river: kayaking, trout fishing, and other fun activities. The apple farm. Put that behind us. It just didn't work, and it sucks. The ad, I don't know if you remember reading the original posting, it said, "You will have a hard time pulling away from this place."
It's true.
I didn't want to go.
I know.
And just kind of stood there, and there was rain. It's been raining for 3 straight days. I mean, it was a beautiful place. I would love to have tried a place like that, but like I was saying today, I want my fights to be against forces of nature and the weather and the crops. I don't want my fights to be against the City Hall and the Zoning Commission and the Planning Department and setbacks and variants and all the things that you have to do to get that done.
Yeah, that's rough.
I didn't want to just develop a whole different business plan just to live there. And had problems with the tire, and then made a mistake and pulled onto private property to get off the highway. Got stuck in the mud. Stayed there 2.5 hours. Sheriff came, got my name, ran my plates. Didn't give me a ticket. I thought he might. I don't know.
I keep wondering if we'll get a ticket when the homeowner comes home and finds all the rats in her yard.
It was just a mess, and I have no recourse or apology. They weren't even there. So, ended up even getting a shovel and like digging out some dirt that we got hung up on. It was just a pile of gravel, but damaged our jacks.
Yep.
The mud everywhere. And the silver lining was, it could have been worse. I mean, somebody could have been hurt or killed, and it was that tire was very, very close to coming off the road.
Yeah, that was really bad.
It was really bad. We have some damaged lugs. I saw your video earlier. They're called lugs. And I think we're in a safe place. We're okay to drive on it right now.
I hope so. We just need to keep checking it.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's just been raining and raining and raining and raining and raining. It drove in the night. Really, really tight roads with construction, and where they neck it down to where it's just 2 lanes, and I'm just trying my best to keep between the lines while these trucks are passing me and sucking me all over the
We
place.
probably, after what long day we had, we probably should have stopped and gotten a place right there so that we could decompress. But what we did was, since we're not behind, we keep having to remind ourselves we're not behind.
No schedule.
There's no schedule. But we had said we were going to make it to Minneapolis today, and we just felt like we should push through, so we kept driving, and we probably should have just stayed where we were.
No, I didn't want to stay, because here's the thing. We had this harvest host that was willing to host us tonight.
Yeah.
65 Vines Winery.
Yeah.
And it is really cool, and it was
beautiful.
It was just silver lining of the day.
Yeah.
We
And
went in
Scott was
there,
amazing.
He came
showed
out
us,
and showed us around.
yeah, showed us all the wines. Got to taste a bunch of them, which was nice after such a long day.
Yeah, I needed that. I'm not really a wine guy, but I sampled every wine. Really. And tomorrow we'll see this piece of land that he's on, and it's brilliant. It's like someone living their dream, and I just needed to see that today.
It's a great story. If you want to look it up, I'll leave the link to the to the website for the winery down below because he has a great story and kind of changed his stars, which is kind of what we're doing. And a lot of growers in this area he turned us on to. He's like, check out all these other growers, and they've done similar things, but it's inspiring to see other people doing it. And so that was part of what we got out of being here, and part of the reason we want to go to Harvest Hosts, right, and stay with people who are doing this, because a lot of people have left what they used to do. I think it's cool to meet those people because they're inspiring, because they're living what they wanted to do and not just the corporate thing that they were supposed to do, right?
And you can just tell looking at this guy tonight, Scott, and he just owns it. Like, this is his dream, and he just owns it. And he made a conscious choice, and he did something really hard, and it's working. Yeah. They're winning all these awards.
It's good wine, so check them out if you're in the neighborhood.
Well, that's it for us tonight. Tomorrow's going to be a beautiful day, and everything's going to go according to plan.
Of course.
It's going to be great. Well, thanks for sticking around for our story, and do check us out on deeprootsfamily.com, where you can read our blog and we get a little more philosophical about some of the stuff that we're coming through. Thanks for watching.